Helps if I turn the mic on. Okay, we should be all up and running now. YouTube is telling me that the stream health is very good. So hopefully that means that you can see me okay and you can hear me okay. Let's just see if I've actually appeared yet. Because, hello Jean. Because there's a short delay between between me saying something and the camera taking the image in, and then it getting to you. It takes a little bit of time. Yeah, there was a slight echo. Yay! Hi Sean, nice to see you. Romy, hello, good to see you. Yeah, hopefully the echo should have stopped now. I need to remember to shut down my speaker on the laptop, and I forgot. And the sun's come out. It was actually quite dim, so I've got a light set up over there, and the sun's come out now. Let me just I'm just going to knock the exposure of the camera down a bit. Because it's suddenly become intensely bright. Hopefully that's a bit better. Everything's good, yeah? Can see and hear. Repeat and echo. Anyone else have an echo? Barbara, I'd try perhaps refreshing the page. I've definitely shut my mic off now, so there shouldn't be an echo from my end. So if there is at your end, right, I think it's your end, Barbara. Very frustrating. So it could be, if you have a mic on somewhere, if you have a headset on and the mic is switched on, and you've got the speakers on at the same time, it might be picking it up twice and feeding it back again. It could be that, but I would try refreshing the page. Oh yeah, I always forget to I forget to sort out that sound in one ear thing. I wonder if there's a way I can I'm not sure if there's a way that I can make it go out of both of them at once. Don't know if that is that better. I think I should be coming out of both. Should be coming out of both ears now. It's not actually stereo because I've only got one mic, but I should be coming out of. You should be able to hear me in both ears. Okay, I think it's probably time for us to get started. Yeah, that should be fixed. Well, it should be fixed. I'm typing it should be fixed now, but it will be fixed in a minute or in a few seconds for you. Yeah, okay, we figured it out. Right, so what we're going to be covering today is something that I know a lot of people want to do, and it's those Mailchimp forms that you get set up on your site that look pretty horrendous when you first get them going. Well, I wouldn't say they're horrendous. They're just very, very basic. And they tend to be a little bit kind of hidden away and not very obvious. And they don't really fit with your site's theme. The writing is small. And also the little kind of, the little form fields are quite small as well. And they're not ideal. So just to let you know what I'm talking about, I'm going to bring up the Threads demo site in just a second, and I'll show you what I have set up at the moment on the Threads demo site. I just got to change a couple of things quickly. Where's it gone? we go. I'll just put that back in its spot for you. I'm going to do a screen share in a second. I just forgot because I've been playing around with the form on the Threads demo site today, testing some stuff out to make sure that it worked all right before I recommended that you do it. So I'm just putting it back how it was. A couple of things I forgot to change back. Now you can actually, if you want to, you can go straight to it. Oh dear, Cindy. Cindy has no video or sound. Yay, good. So I'll put the URL of the site in the chat. I've already put it in there. So you can click on that if you want. Open it in a new window. If you're on a tablet, I'm not sure how you do it. Open in a new tab, or a phone. But if you're on a Mac, you hit Command and then click on it. Hold Command down, and if you're on a PC, you hold Control down and click on the link, and it will open it in a new tab. Someone else can't see it. We're just going to have to keep going, and hopefully the people who can't see it at the moment will catch up. So you can either click on it that way, but I'm going to do a screen share anyway to take you over to it, to show you what we have set up at the moment. Just to kind of show you, here we go, to show you how they look right now. So if I go through, you get something like this. So if I go through to this blog post, which is our single example blog post on here. Now we've got a couple of things that we've set up here. We've got a free guide to glazing, blah, blah, blah. And then we've got the sign up form. Now the way that that's set up is in appearance and then widgets. All themes are slightly different. You might see something slightly different on this screen depending on what which theme you're using. But they'll generally have an area like this called the sidebar. It might be over here, it might be down here. There'll be an area called the sidebar. So these things you can just kind of drop in and out, change them around, do anything you like, and it automatically refreshes them, okay? So I could have the search underneath, and I could have this, you know, if you refresh the page, every time I make a change here, you will see it change. So this is just text, okay? So we just have a bit of text in this widget here. And then this is the HTML that we copied from Mailchimp, okay? So, and this is how that looks. This is the little widget. If I refresh this, the search should be at the bottom now. No, the search is at the bottom. This is the text that we put in there. And here is the sign up form from Mailchimp. One of the things that I dislike about the default Mailchimp sign up form is that it's quite grayed out, and it doesn't really stand out. Another big problem that you have with it is that sometimes you want to have a sign up form down here at the bottom of a post, okay? And you can't do that with this. You can kind of stick the HTML in at the bottom of a post, but it's not going to look very good. It's all going to look, you know, a little bit thrown together and a little bit rough, okay? So great. Looks like it's working for everybody. That's good. There are three basic ways really that you can change this and make it look better. The first one is for text only, basically. And what you can do is, you saw the bit of HTML that I showed you just now in the Mailchimp, the HTML for the Mailchimp form. You can edit that if you know HTML and CSS, which is basically markup language that all web pages are written in. You can learn that. You absolutely can learn it. But if you're starting from a position where you don't know any HTML and CSS at all, frankly, I wouldn't, because it's going to take you so long even just to do basic stuff on your form, there's a really good chance that you'll destroy your site by accident if you just miss a tag off or something like that. But if you're comfortable with HTML and CSS, then by all means do it that way. I'm not going to be showing you that way today because I think most Threads members basically want to be painting. They want to be putting stuff up on their websites, connecting with people. They don't want to be learning HTML and how to do markup language. So that's the first way. The second way is with a free plugin. Now you can get quite a lot with free plugins. You can make those little forms look a lot better. Doesn't cost you anything at all. And it works pretty well. So I'm going to show you a couple of plugins. I'm definitely going to show you one. I might show you two plugins that you can use for that. One is a strong preference for me, but the other one allows more customization options of the look without having to pay any money, although I don't feel it works as well. So hopefully we'll have enough time and I'll show you both. The third way that you can do it is by buying a premium plugin. Now these do cost a bit of money. So the main one that I want to show you today has a free version, which you can do quite a lot with, and would certainly help your websites convert better, which means that more people who visit will sign up because the sign up forms will be more obvious. But also if you get the premium one, you can style the form any way you like. So it's really handy for that. Not only that, on the premium one, on the free one, you can only create one form. You can stick that form anywhere you like, but on the premium one, you can create a few different forms for different purposes, which as you get further down the road, you will probably want to do. Okay, so yeah, just want easy. Easy is good, right? We're going to do it easy. Now the premium one is slightly more complicated to use, but personally I think it's not too bad, you know. It's basically, you don't have to do any coding, you just have to figure out the interface and learn how to change things. But they've set it up so it's really, really simple. Now, you do have to pay for it, but it's not very expensive. And I think the value for what you pay is just off the scale. It's fantastic. Let's go back to a quick screen share again so that I can show you how to find these plugins. Okay, so the first one is called Mailchimp for WordPress. So you can just go in, you can find it this way, Mailchimp for WordPress, and this is the on wordpress.org, the plugin repository. This is their page for it here, and here you can see they've got active installations is over 1 million. So it's certainly very popular. And if you see that and something has a 5-star rating from all of these reviews it's had, then you can pretty much guarantee that that's going to be a pretty good plugin. Okay, so this is the one that I would recommend you use. The free version is pretty good. It's certainly a huge improvement on just using Mailchimp with the integration plugin. It gives you a lot more flexibility about where you put the forms and you can make them look better. And the premium version of this, I've already bought it because I wanted to show you what it could do, because I think it's very good. I'll take you through that as well, okay? But first, let's go into, here we are in the dashboard of the Threads demonstration site. I've got an update to do. Let's have a look. If you ever see these little update things, it's a good idea to go in there and see what they are. Oh, this is just a theme. It's an update for a theme that we're not using, so I wouldn't bother about that if it's just a theme. But we're going to go into plugins and add new. And in here, I'm going to write Mailchimp for WordPress. And here it is. It will come back in a second. Here it is, this one here. Okay. Now I've already had this installed on the site and I've been playing around with it to make sure it works and get used to it, so I don't spend a lot of time thrashing, or hopefully not too much time thrashing around at random. But I've taken it back off so I can show you the whole steps of getting this set up. So I'll install now. It's as easy as this, and then it's installed. Then I want to activate it, so then you press the activate button. And we're done, and it takes you straight over to the plugins page. See, this menu is highlighted here. So we're on the plugins page, and here it is, Mailchimp for WordPress. So let's pop into settings. This is the cell for the premium one. You might want to look at that at some point. Now what's unfortunate here is that although I deleted it, it's remembered my settings. So let's say that I haven't done that yet. I know it's not a valid key. This is how it will look because I've already had it set up. Okay, so you don't really get very much. So the first thing you do when you get in here, these are your various options here, but the first thing you want to do is to connect it to Mailchimp. Okay, and you need something called an API key for that. API stands for Application Programmers Interface, which you really don't need to know. But the nice thing about it is it says they've got a little link, get your API key here. You will need your Mailchimp login, okay? So it's taking me straight to the Mailchimp login. Now if this is going to be nice, it will remember me, which it did. As long as you've got your email address and your password. I don't actually want that one though. I want the other one, the threads demonstration one. This one I want. So I'll log into Mailchimp and hopefully it will then redirect me straight to it. No, we're going to do that later. We don't need any of that. Straight to the API keys. If you're already in there and you need to find it, you go into, I think it's, if you're in, is it in campaigns? No, is it just at the home page? You sent your first email. I'm trying to remember how, if you're already in there. Oh, I remember. You go into your account up here. Account, and then extras, and then API keys. So if you're already in it, that's how you get to it, okay? Now, if you don't have one yet, which you probably won't have, you need to press this, create a key, okay? Now, I've already pressed that earlier on when I was setting all this up and making sure it worked, but you just create a key and then you will get this, and this is the key. So that's the bit that you need to copy. So just highlight it and copy it, and then go back and stick it in there. Just copy and paste and then save it. And what will happen next, if I've done that right, is we get, it's so easy. You know, this plugin is now connected to your Mailchimp account, which is utterly fantastic. And I've got one email list in my Mailchimp account, and this is it here. Okay, so at this point, we've got that plugin installed. Now let me just quickly pop back to talk to you again. How was that? Did that seem reasonably easy to you? Did it make sense, all of those steps? Basically, all we've done is we've installed a new plugin, the free version of a plugin, and then we've connected it from our site to our Mailchimp account. So those two things can now talk to each other. And that's really important because when someone signs up on the form on your site, which you're going to build with this thing, that email address needs to get sent over to Mailchimp and added to your list. Really important that that happens. Otherwise, we're not building our email list. So that step is absolutely crucial. It's very, very easy to do if you know what it is that you need to do. And that will basically get them set up and connected. So just let me know if you've got any questions about anything that I've covered so far in there, okay? Wow, Alison, you've set yours up already? What? Wow. with that, are you using this plugin? That's really interesting. It's great. Everybody's lost video. Have you still got sound? Okay, it was me. I'm going to be back in a minute. I just when I came out of the screen share, I clicked the wrong thing. So you should have video. It should be back in a second. Come on, video, come back. This will show you how long the delay is. It should be back in a second if I've got that right. Oh, I just need to plug my Mac in. Just realised. one other thing I often forget to do. We would definitely be without video and sound if I didn't plug in the Mac. Okay, there we go. So I'm back now. Should be back, yeah. And the Mac is plugged in, so it's not going to run out of charge. It's really bright now, isn't it? I'm just seeing how bright this. I'm not going to run over and mess with the camera as well, but I've got direct sunlight coming into the studio now. It's quite nice in the evening, but it does mess up the cameras a bit. Okay, so where were we? We've just set up. We've installed the plugin, we've activated it, and we've set up our API key. I'll go back to the screen share again now. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is simply to create a form. Okay, assuming that you see your list down here, which you should do, once it's connected, that should automatically appear. So to make a form, it doesn't have a link in here, but the best way to go into it is to go over to forms here. And this is what you get as a kind of a basic form. I have a feeling it's saved this as well. I don't think this was here before, this extra. Let's see if I can just delete that so I can show you. Does this field required? No, it doesn't seem like I can. I wanted to just delete it. And it's also already got a form, and I think you actually have to create one, which is a bit annoying because I thought when I uninstalled the plugin that the form would disappear, but it must have been kept somehow in the database. But never mind. You'll come over here. You'll probably find a link on the page I was previously on to create a form, or click on forms and you create a form and you get something like this. It doesn't have that one. So this is really basic, okay? You can see this, really lovely. It kind of gives you a little preview of how it's going to look. Now, if I did want to add, just to show you, if you wanted to add another form field here, I could add last name, and it's as simple as clicking on that last name. The placeholder is the little bit of text that will show. Well, just to show you the difference, I'll put enter last name. Okay. I think it's actually initial value. We want it in there. You can make it a required field or not if you want to. Just leave that as it is and add it to the form. And we've got a new one here. Unfortunately, they're the wrong way around because you've got last name and then first name. So you probably want to do them in the right order. I think there's probably a way that you can change that. If you really wanted to, you can change it in the code. So I could just get all of that, you see, from that P to the closing P there. I can just take that out and then paste it back in where I want it to go there. And that will work. That will swap them around if you really wanted to do it. It's odd that there isn't an easier way to do it. I don't think you can just pick them up and grab them. Unfortunately not. But it's a nice simple form, okay? Now, a couple of things we do want to set now. The default one, it would just say email address and sign up, which is what I usually go with because I want to make it as simple as possible. I'm just showing you that you can add other fields if you want to. Then you want to go into the settings. Your default list will already be selected here. Now it's up to you. Double opt-in will probably be selected by default. I don't do double opt-in. Are you sure you want to disable it? Yes, I'm sure. Now, from a point of view of GDPR, some people say you definitely should have a double opt-in. It will definitely hurt the amount of people that sign up to your blog. It's your call if you want to do it or not. I'm not advising you legally either way. I am saying that I don't do it on my site. Update existing subscribers. I would say no, because anything that gets sent out, you don't want to send to people who are already there. Now, this is quite interesting. You can tag people. It's not so useful unless you can create more than one form. And with the free version, you can only create one form. But for instance, for everyone who signed up to Threads, to the Threads mailing list, you all get tagged. So when I go to send an email, I don't have to send it to everyone, all 10,000 people on my list, or 9,000 1,750, whatever it is, I only send it to Threads members. So tagging is really useful for that. But that's something to worry about when you get further down the line. Hide the form after a successful sign up. That's quite good. I mean, it's quite a useful thing to do, because obviously once someone signed up once, you don't need them to see the form again. So let's click yes. It's up to you what you do for that. Now this one is very interesting, okay? The redirect URL after signups. Now if you have something like we have, where we're saying get my free guide to glazing, so they want to fill in that and subscribe, then you absolutely need to fill that one in, okay? And the way we find that page is if you go into all of your pages. Let's not do it on that, that's my own site. I don't think we want that. We'll go into pages, all pages. And it's the one that says thanks for subscribing. So I can look down here and it's this one here. Thanks for subscribing. You don't want to copy this though. What you have to do is view the page. And this shows you the actual web address of the page. Copy that. And then paste it in here. I've already done that earlier on and it's kept it in the database. And then save those changes. Oh, and by the way, you can have a reCAPTCHA on there if you want to. Again, I wouldn't do it because it's going to hurt your subscription rate, but you can if you want to. It's entirely up to you. Okay. So in messages, that's the next thing I would look at is this tab. And out of the gate, this says something like, thank you, your sign-up request was successful. Please check your email for your double opt-in, blah, blah, blah. Click the link to confirm your subscription. I just took that bit out because I switched off the double opt-in. That's the only thing you really need to do in there. Everything here is pretty good. All these are fine as they are. So now the interesting bit is appearance, okay? Now we haven't done anything yet. Now I'm using Tienda theme, Tienda basic. So this is just saying inherit from the theme, okay? So before we start playing with the look of this thing, what I want to do is to put it into the, I want to put it into the page so you can see how it actually looks. But before I do that, I just want to have another quick check just to make sure that you've all understood what I'm talking about so far. At this point, does any of that seem very frightening, or does it seem like you could probably do that? Let me know. If it's the kind of thing that makes you like run screaming from the room and think, there's no, I can't deal with all that, it's too complicated. I understand, but that does mean that you'll have to pretty much stay with the basic standard Mailchimp sign-up form. If it doesn't look too bad and you think that it's maybe something that you could have a go at and try, you won't break your site by setting this up. You might break your subscription form for a little while until you figure out the problem, but you won't break your whole site, okay? So just let me know in the chat how you're feeling about this up to this point. If it seems reasonably doable to you, or if it seems like, no, there's no way I could do that. Just let me know. Let me just have a quick check down here. Oh, Sarah, hello. Sorry, I didn't see you join. Sorry, I'm just having a quick scroll through and make sure I haven't missed anything. Because the difficult thing for me is that when I go onto the screen share, I can no longer see the chat. So if you put anything in the chat whilst we're on screen share, then I won't actually see it until I come back out again. So I'm just having a quick check through now. Takes a bit of getting used to, Alison says. Yeah, I mean, I totally get it that it will. Oh, by the way, yes, this will be available afterwards. I'm still a bit behind, a couple of months behind on uploading the replays of all the webinars, but they do eventually all get loaded up to the Threads dashboard. So it's in your courses in Threads. So if you go to paulfoxton.thinkific.co.uk, whatever it is, you know, the link to the main threads dashboard. I send out an email after I've got them uploaded with a link to the latest one, so you'll be able to see it there. So yes, it will be recorded and it will be uploaded. And what I'm doing now is, the reason I'm behind is because I'm breaking them down into chapters to make it easier to find a specific bit you want, especially if we're talking about technical stuff like this. I think it really helps. It unfortunately does mean that it takes me quite a bit longer to get them up there. Okay, hopefully that made sense. Who's that was asking that? Judy. So yeah, don't worry about it, Judy. It will all be there. And if you have any problems finding all of those other courses that are in there already, just let me know, okay? Yeah, I mean, all of this stuff, it does take a little bit of getting used to. There's no doubt about it. But given time and a little bit of practice, the stuff that I'm showing you is kind of non-dangerous, so it shouldn't break anything on your site. As long as we all we're doing is playing with plugins, it's very unlikely that we'll actually break the site. So, okay, what I want to go back to now is I'm going to show you how to actually stick this form. So here we are, we've made our form. Here is our little form, but it's no use to us in here. We need to get it onto the site, okay? Now, there's a little bit up here. After you created the form, it made this. It's called use the shortcode. It says here, use the shortcode to display this form inside a post, a page, or a text widget. Now, the nice thing about this is it means that we can put this form absolutely anywhere on our site. Take a minute to think about that. You can put it in the header. You can put it in the sidebar where they normally go. You can put it right in the middle of a post, or you can put it at the end of a post. You can put it at the beginning of a post. You can put it on any page that you make. It's absolutely brilliant. And this you cannot do with the standard Mailchimp. And this is why I think this plugin beats everything else in terms of free plugins. I haven't found another one that lets you do this. So this really is, it looks scary. It is code, but all it is a copy and paste. So I'm going to copy that, Command C, highlighting Command C. And then let's go to, we need to find our sidebar now, and that's in Appearance, and then Widgets. Remember, we were here earlier on when we were looking at the existing form. So here's our sidebar. Here's the existing form. There's the text, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a custom HTML widget. You'll all have this, and all you have to do is click on it, hold down the click, and then pull it over. And for now, I'll put it opens automatically, ready for you to put your stuff in. I'll put it underneath the search at the moment so we can see the difference. And I've just pasted that in and clicked save. Okay, so that's it saved. Now, all being well, when I go to the site now, in the sidebar, we should have the new form as well. And here it is. Here's our new form. It looks a little bit bland. In fact, in some ways, it's even less obvious than this one here, but we're going to change that in a second. We're going to make it look a little bit more obvious. But you can see, hopefully, I think the layout of this is already much nicer. There's a bit too much going on. I would prefer to lose these two and have it a little simpler than that. It's up to you. If you have somebody's name, it just means that you can personalize the emails that you sent out, okay? So let's go back to the widgets. So we've got our text first, then our old form, then our search, and then the new form. So let's take our old form from Mailchimp out. You just pull it down, same thing, click and hold it, and then pull it down. And I'm going to swap these around. This is so easy, okay? Now, if I refresh this, get my free guide to glazing, blah, 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 and then we've got the new form. The one thing that really isn't standing out to me here, you can see this just looks like it's inherited the theme. So it looks like the basic, everything else. It looks like the search form. So it's not really standing out. But the good thing about that is that yours will look different. It will fit with your theme. This is a very, very simple basic theme. Okay. So let's go back to the forms again. I'm going to change how it looks now. We go back into, scroll down, Mailchimp for WP, and then the form. And then we want to go up here to appearance. Now, at the moment, we've got this, okay? And this is all we've got. But we've got a couple of different things we can do here. Let's try that one first, light theme, and then save it. And it's as easy as this to change it. And all it really changes the sign up thing. It changes the layout a little bit, you know. These now stand out more, and everything fits better. You notice how everything fits better now. Already this is looking better than the default one. And if you're on a different size screen, it redraws itself to fit the side of the sidebar, to fit the width of the sidebar, which is really nice, okay? So that's the light theme. Let's say, what else have we got? Let's try the dark theme. Save changes. Now the only change between this and this one, let's refresh the page, is this turns dark. Makes it stand out a little better. Already this is looking way better than what we had before, okay? What else have we got in here? Let's try the red theme. Save changes, refresh the page. The only thing it's changed is this, but now this is really standing out on this page. It's really obvious that there's something over here, right? And it looks way better than the basic one. But if I fill this in, it will automatically, let's do it as a test. It will automatically add me to the Mailchimp list. I'm trying to think of one I haven't used yet. Is that right? Yeah. And it ought to take us straight to our thank you page with our download, which we set up in one of the earlier webinars. Yeah, thanks for subscribing. And here's our little download for our free glazing guide. So we just click that and we can download the thing. Lovely, huh? Okay, let's pop out of this now. I think I've done it right this time. I haven't made myself disappear. Oh, the blog post, it's Latin actually. It's the lorem ipsum whatever thing. It's just a placeholder text that designers always use when they're building a layout of the site because they want to see some text in there. So it's just Latin, it's just a placeholder so that there's some content in there rather than me actually having to write a whole post on the site. Because the Threads demonstration site is just that. It's just about showing, demonstrating the things that I'm actually doing. So you can, this site is live though, the Threads demonstration site is live. So you can go and visit it at any point and see what's live on it. And then go and look at the relevant webinar in your Threads dashboard to find out how we did the various things that are on there. Nothing is on that site that hasn't been covered at some point in the courses, okay? So it will be in there. So, Magic, I'm here. Yeah, actually managed this time. So, what do you think? Doable? Do you think you could probably get away with that with a bit of playing around and practice? All we've really done at this point is we've taken out the default Mailchimp form and we've added something which looks much better and also gives us the ability to change the color of the sign up button. We don't have many choices, red, green and blue, that's all we have. But it looks much better than the original form and it means that your eye will go to it much more quickly. So it's basically, for the sake of a bit of thrashing around, figuring out how it works, watching this video a few times maybe, the replay, and installing the plugin, you get a much, much better looking form that works in exactly the same way as the default Mailchimp one does. Cindy says it's doable. Good for you, Cindy. Yeah, I think you can all do this. Nothing really should be particularly terrifying for you, I don't think. You should all be able to do this okay. Okay, so the last thing that I want to show you with this particular plugin, with the free version, is I'm going to show you how to embed that same form. We've finished it, we've designed it, we've stuck it in the sidebar. I'm going to show you how to put it in a post now. because there's something about posts. Let me just set up something quickly first to make sure we're all ready. There are various places that you can put a sign-up form on your site. And the place that everybody puts them is the sidebar. Now, the funny thing about forms in sidebars is that they don't convert all that well. Now, when I say convert, that's kind of web marketing language for it. What it basically means is your conversion rate is the percentage of people who visit taking the action that you want them to take. In this case, the action we want them to take is to sign up, okay, to put in their email address and click sign up. So if 10 people visit your site and one of those people signs up, you have a conversion rate of 10%. Sorry, 10%. If 2 people sign up, you have a conversion rate of 20%. Okay. If 1.5 people sign up, if one of them was a kid, the conversion rate is, anyway, you get what I'm saying. The sidebars tend not to convert all that well. I think because it's an area of the screen that people don't look at very much. Okay, so what I want to take you through now, let's get over onto the screen share again, is how to add this form into a post itself. So let's just open up all of the posts, and on the site itself, I'm going to go to, we only have one demonstration post, so let's go to this post. Okay, so we've got it over on the side here. This is already looking so much better than it did before. But wouldn't it be nice? Imagine if this was a long post. Doesn't even have to be that long, just this long, okay? So it went all the way down the page. Let me show you what that would actually look like. We'll go in, this is the post, okay, that I was just showing you. So let's just go in here and add a bit more. Five paragraphs of text now. I've just copied and pasted it, you know. Hopefully it will lay out okay. Right, so as soon as we're down here in reading, look what happens to our lovely sign-up form. It's disappeared, you know. And I think that's another reason why these sign-up forms in the sidebar here don't tend to get clicked on. People don't tend to subscribe so much, okay? What about if we had one at the bottom of the post here? Now I can tell you from my own experience that these sign-up forms that you have at the bottom here, they do much, much better. Someone gets to the end of a post, if you've got something down here where they can sign up and get more updates, if they've taken the trouble to read to the end of your post and they've enjoyed it, and they find something at the bottom here ready for them to sign up, then they're very likely to do it. But with the old Mailchimp form, we couldn't do that. We couldn't add it to a post. Well, with this we can. So remember we had on the form page, this is where we display it, and it says inside a post, a page, or a text widget. Now we put it in a text widget when we put it in the sidebar, but let's copy that again. We've got our post open here, and it's as simple as this, okay? You need to be in the code view, by the way. If you put this in the text view, it won't work. So let's just, to make doubly sure, you change that here. Here you're in the visual editor. If I do it here, add a new block. Yeah, I want a paragraph, and I put it in there. Oh, it does work. It's picked it up as a shortcode. So that's fine, it has done it. Shortcode. So that should have done it. Normally I would go into code view to do it. So you can change whether you're in code view, code editor, or visual editor there. But this actually appears to have picked up that that's a shortcode. So I've updated it, but it's taking a minute. All done. Let's go back and have a look at our blog post now. And if that's worked, we should have, when we get to the bottom, lo and behold, here's our sign up form. And notice how it's stretched out to fit the page a little bit better. And if someone is on, say, a tablet, then it will fit. If they're on a phone, it will still fit. That's roughly what it would look like if you were on a phone. How cool is that? I love that about this plugin. It automatically redraws. And so we can actually put that anywhere we like. Thinking about other places you could put it. There is let's see, if I go into appearance widgets, I mean, obviously I can put it in any page in just the same way. Jumbo headline, the area on the home page below the header, designed specifically for one text widget. Okay, let's try it. We'll get a text widget, click on it, hold it. Yours will be different depending on your theme. Stick shortcode in and save. I think it should work. So if I then go to the home page, hopefully, it's a bit weird, but it's put it right in the middle of this thing. Obviously that would need a bit of playing with to get it to lay out better. But it has actually done it. It's thrown it in there. So if I put a different image behind it, I can actually, it just goes to show that you can stick that bit of code anywhere. It looks horrendous, but you know, you could probably play with it, and especially if you had the paid version, which I'm going to go on to in a minute and show you your different versions. You could build a second form that just had an email address and laid out slightly differently, and you could clag that in there. So that's a space available to me there for putting something in. Given this theme, what I would be inclined to use that for is a little about this site, like a small about page there. But you know, you can put anything in there. I don't think we really want that in there though, do we? Because it looks horrendous. So let's take it out. And that's as simple as clicking on it, dragging, and putting it into inactive, not used. And now I don't even have to save anything, and now it will be gone. Back to just the image. Okay. Lovely form at the bottom. If I wanted to, by the way, let's edit that page. Edit the post. I could also put it I think that will work, even though I'm in the visual editor. Let's see if it works. View the post. Yeah, so we've got one in the middle. This might be overkill, a little bit, you know, but at least you're in no doubt that someone has seen your form. Absolutely brilliant facility. You can create a nice form and you can put it anywhere you like in any of your posts for free. Okay. So, okay, Olaf, I'll see you again soon. So how does that feel at that point? Does that feel like something that you could probably do yourself? No code involved at all done, just playing around with that one free plugin, and you've got yourself a solution where you can make a much better looking form with a limited presentation, but it looks much better. And the really good thing about it is you can put it absolutely anywhere you like. Now, I think, is that you, Heather, saying, oh no, it's Cindy. Can you have different forms, like one for the sidebar and then in a post? Yes, you can, but not with the free version. That's where you have to pay for the premium version, which I'm going to show you now. That's the next thing I'm going to show you. And how do we add the text about the giveaway to the bottom of the post about the sign up form shortcode? Yeah, that's a really good question. The way you would do that is, let me go quickly back into a screen share so I can show you how you would do that. You'll get two of me for a second. Here we go. So, am I on the blog post there? Yeah, let's get back to the blog post. So the only way that you can do that is, let me quickly, here's the HTML that we had. No, that's not it. Here's the HTML that we had before. The only way you can do it is actually to put it in. So you'd have to go down to where your form is, move it down a bit, put in whatever you want to put there. Now what I would do is to make it really clear, so get your free glazing guide, and that I would make an H2 so it stands out. Okay. It's really as simple as this. Just write the thing in. Let's view the post. And this makes it stand out a little bit more. And if you fill that in, it will work just the same as the one in the sidebar. It will take you to the thank you page. Really is as simple as that. Okay. One more thing I want to show you actually, because you can do this with the free one. Say you wanted this to stand out even more and you wanted a little image there. That is also very easy to do. So let's go back to the widgets. Okay. So this time I want to put an image in there. Okay. So you will all have this in your available widgets area. There'll be one called image. So I'm going to pull that over. Stick it in there. I'm not going to give it a title, and then you just click on this, add image, and it brings up your media library. Now I've already stuck this in before. This is 300 pixels wide, and most of your sidebars, if you have one in your theme, will probably be 300 pixels. It's pretty standard. Add it to the widget and save. Are we in the post? Yeah. So now I've got a nice little image, then I've got a bit about it. You could actually put all of this text in there, or you can have this as your title and then a little bit below. I mean, to show you how I have it set up on my site, let's go. Oop. I mean, this is exactly how I've done it on my site. If you see the sidebar, there's the image, and then I've got a bit of text underneath. And then this is just a link. This is just a link which takes you through to the actual page, but that could as easily be a sign-up form there. Some of them I have a sign-up form here. Month free trial for Threads, what a great deal. So that's exactly how I do it. You know. And the nice thing about that as well is, even if your image is slightly outsized, if it fits in there, did you see that? It automatically redrew the size of the image and made it slightly smaller. And at some point it would get slightly bigger again. Smaller, bigger. Computers and web browsers are pretty clever these days, and it will actually do a lot of that for you. And now we have a really nice sidebar. Very simple to set up. Well, I say very simple, reasonably simple. You didn't have to do any code. You can put anything you want here. If you have Photoshop or some other image editing software. GIMP is a good one if you don't want to get Photoshop. It's a beast to use, and the learning curve is very steep, but it's free and as powerful as Photoshop. And all we have there is the stuff that we've got in our widgets here. We've got the image, we've got the text, and we've got the form. And that has created this beautiful sidebar here. Fits really nice, looks great, really simple to do, and we can even stick this in there. Okay. Oh, the light is finally going now, isn't it? The sun is starting to go down. Okay, so how was that? Does that seem okay? Let me have a quick look. Yeah, you might want to use two different forms. Yeah. Yeah, it is a bummer, except that it's a bummer that you can only have one basic form unless you go for the paid one. Now, the paid one is actually, let me show you. Let's go. Let me know if that's all right. If everything is okay and kind of makes sense for you at the moment. The last thing I want to show you now, we're almost out of time actually, so I'm not going to get to show you the other plugin, but I'll link it in the chat so you can have a look at it if you want. I don't think it's as good, and I'll tell you why after I've shown you this next thing. This isn't going to take as long because it's just a slight change to what we've already done if you've got that one installed already. So let's go back to our Mailchimp for WordPress. You will actually be able to see it inside the forms. Let me go back to a screen share again. Remember, I can't see the chat at the moment, but I'll catch up with anything you write in there. Now, you notice it says here, inside the appearance thing, it says here, If you want to customize this form, try our styles builder, okay, and edit the look in just a few clicks. And then you want to create more than one form, the premium add-on does all of that. Excuse me, the voice is starting to go. So I've just clicked through to the premium thing here. So view pricing. Now, the only real difference between these is how many sites you can use it on. Just one site, which is most of us, almost all of us, I should think, up to 3 sites or up to 10 sites, right? And now I bought this one. For me, it's 60 euros, 59 euros, which equates to about 50, 60 quid, something like that. But that's for a year. And you get priority support, all of the features, okay? And you get all of the updates as well. Now, when you think about it, £60 is not all that bad. I mean, I don't know how much it is in dollars, you'll have to check, but it's probably something fairly similar. And that would end up being something like probably about $4 or $5 a month, something like that. And given what you get for it, I think that's a pretty good deal, okay? So I've already got that. Now, when you purchase it, it takes you through to a page like this. No, is it that one? No, not that one. Because I've already got it. It takes you through to another page where you can download the thing anyway. Let's see if it will go through for me. I'm trying to find, oh, I know why. If I go into account area, it basically takes you to this page. So you can download, that's the free one, and then you need to download the premium one as well. Download a zip file is the easiest way to do it. So I'll show you, if you've got that, if you bought it, you're taken through to that page, okay? So we'll add it, slightly different way of adding it this time, okay? So we go into plugins and add new. Now we want to go here, upload plugin, okay? We're not searching, this is for the free ones. We want upload plugin, and then you can choose the file. And for me, it's in downloads, and it's M, I think it started with M. Here it is, this one here. Mailchimp for WordPress Premium, open. Install now. It's slightly different when you get a premium one. You have to download it and then put it in, but it's as quick as that. It's in there. Let's activate it. Activate the plugin. So now we've got Mailchimp for WordPress and we've got Mailchimp for WordPress Premium. And all that does is it adds a lot of options over here, okay? So if we go back to the forms now, here's our sign up form. Nothing has really changed. It's still the same form, except that now we should have, oh, actually, before I take you into that, Cindy, here's your thing. We can create a new form now. We can create a different form that looks slightly different. You can do anything you want with it. And also, if you create another form, let's say, for sake of argument, I made another form, and this is for members. Let's just say this is people who are members of something or other that we've set up. And if you go into settings, is it settings where you can tag? This is very cool, by the way. You can, one of the settings here is you can append this form to all posts in a particular category. If I was using Mailchimp, I would absolutely use this plugin. I think it's fantastic. I think it's better than ConvertKit actually for that. Tags. So anyone who subscribes to this form, we can say they're a member, we can tag them, and then they will have that tag inside Mailchimp. So then we can select only to send mail to people with that tag, which is really, really clever. But the bit that I want to show you is appearance, because we've got this, okay? Now we've also got this custom colored theme. So we can select a different color. We've got all of these, and that will basically just change the color of our sign up form, our sign up button. Everything else will stay the same. It didn't work. Why didn't it work? There's a reason for it. This happened to me earlier on and I can't remember why it was now. Something I haven't done, I think. Should be all right though. Select color, save changes. It should do it. Go on, turn green. It's not turning green. I'm not sure why. Could it be because I've confused myself and I'm in the wrong form. Let's go back to our forms. It's because I'm in the wrong form. that can get confusing. Okay, appearance. Now this time we'll go for the coloured theme. We'll select a colour and save it. You have no idea how desperately I'm crossing my fingers now. Yay. So what that means is we can still keep everything pretty much the same. We've lost our nice layout here, but it's changed that, okay? This still looks not too bad, but we've just changed that. This is the exciting bit. Open Styles Builder. So now it looks crazy, all of this. Oh, it's kept everything that I did in the database there as well. Let's take all of these out and put them back to their originals. Okay. Because I want to show you it as it will look if you're looking at it for the first time. Sign up buttons. I'm sorry about this. I didn't realize. I thought that once I deleted it, that all of these settings would go back to being standard, and they haven't, because plugins keep all of this stuff in a database. Okay. We probably don't want that to be that color. Let's make it red for now and save. The nice thing is though, you can actually see how it's going to look over here. Okay, so that should look like that now in the site. It's still green. Can I save it? The reason, this is nice, it's actually telling me here, the reason your form is not yet configured to load the styles. Use the style builder in the form appearance settings. I forgot to do it here. Use styles builder. Save changes. Now it will show as red again because we just set it to be red. And it's gone back to the other kind of setup that it had before. Let's open up the styles builder again. Now everything that you change will actually appear over here. So we can change the text alignment. Let's, for the sake of argument, make it white. I wouldn't play with stuff like that. You can select a background color. I wouldn't play with stuff like width too much. I would be inclined to let your site do that for you. I mean, there's really endless permutations. I'm going to make this really fairly simple. I wouldn't be inclined to play with this too much, but the nice thing about it is that it means you can if you've done any editing on your theme, or you have a theme on that's slightly different, it means that you can, all I'm doing there changing the border is changing this border around the outside. Hopefully background is fairly obvious, is that one there. This is not going to be terribly pretty, but this is a really good one, padding. Now let's say I set that to 20. Immediately, can you see what happened there? It made space around it. What if I set it to 40? You see there's more space around the form now. If I set it to 10, let's leave it at 20. The border width, now this is the border here. What if we made that 10? I don't think that looks great personally, but you can do that if you want to. 3. And everything you do automatically happens over here. I love this, you know, it makes it really nice to use. I personally wouldn't bother with any of that stuff too much, but you can if you want. The buttons is the interesting one. Let's have a better color for that. We've gone for orange and everything else, so let's make it an orangey color. That's horrendous. It really looks horrible. You can really tie yourself in knots with this stuff if you're not careful. Come on now. Let me change this. Make it a slightly more pleasant orange. at least we're painters, right? So we ought to be able to do something decent with this. Let's give it a black border. Orange with a black border. You know, if I want to make this border around it more obvious, then let's border width here. Let's make it 2. Slightly wider. Now, if you want a nice curved button, like you've got these curved things here, That's what this is, border radius. Let's make that 3 and see what it does. It does it a little bit. Let's make it 10. You can just play with this stuff as much as you like until you get something that you think looks good, you know. Text color would probably be as well to leave it like that, but if you wanted to, you could change it. Save the changes. And our form now should have changed. Yeah. Now I've aligned it to, the color scheme is pretty awful, but you can hopefully see how easy it is to change the look of the form. Now I've aligned it right, which is kind of looking a little odd, right? So let's go back in there and align it left. It's as simple as align left. Save the changes. And now it's lined up much better over this way. We've got a nice little roll over there. So if you had an image here, a really good way to set up things that look nice all together is to kind of take a color or something close to what you estimate a color from your image, and then you can theme your sign up form to match. So at the moment, obviously they're all going to be the same, but if I created a different form, I would be able to put that form in here just by pasting in the short code. And then we've got this lovely option over here when we had, I'm just going to show you that again because I think it's so useful. For another form, you can say, you can append it to every post. That is outrageously useful. By category, you know, so you could say you've got 4 different categories of posts on your site. You could make a different post related to each category with a separate giveaway related to each category, and then have it appear just for those. That is outrageously useful. It's such a good idea that I think that's absolutely brilliant. Okay, so we now have, it's getting very dark, I'm afraid. I think I'm disappearing a little. I do have a light on, but it's not helping. I'll just bring the exposure of the camera up a little. I always have them set not to auto adjust for when I'm basically for when I'm streaming paintings live, you know. Okay, so let's have a quick look. Now, yes, if you don't have any subscribers yet and you're not making any money from your site, you're not selling anything yet, it might be a bit premature to go for the paid one. I just wanted to show you the options, some of the options that are there, so you can make more forms, you can style them any way you like, have them look really good, and you can append them to all of the posts on your site or just posts in a specific category. That's really outrageously useful thing to have. But you don't need all of that right off the bat if you're just building up your site and you're near the beginning and you don't really have much of a subscriber list or much traffic yet. So what I would recommend you do is, if you're near the beginnings, is install the free version of that plugin first. You can still make a much better sign up form than you can with Mailchimp, okay? You can put it anywhere you like on your site. That's a huge, in terms of building your list, that's a huge increase in functionality, in features, over the basic Mailchimp form, which you can only stick into a sidebar. If you try and stick it somewhere else, it tends to look a bit rubbish. It doesn't really lay out right. These forms that you create can lay out nicely anywhere. Thank you. I'm good. You're saying the instructions are easy to follow. I'm very glad about that. As I say, if there's anything that you didn't get first time round, it's always a lot to take in at once, these things. The replay will be there as well. Yeah, I use multiple forms on mine for sure. But I use ConvertKit, yeah. Sarah says, if you only bought one, then what plugin do you use for learning to see? Yeah, I use a ConvertKit plugin, but also I hand code a lot of my forms as well, because I learned HTML many years ago and CSS, so I can I know enough to be dangerous, put it that way. I have broken my site on occasion by getting it wrong, but I tend to do quite a lot of hand coding. But also the other thing about ConvertKit, which I think makes it better than Mailchimp, is the basic forms look way better than the basic Mailchimp forms. Mailchimp kind of gives you something that sort of looks all right and then leaves you to kind of figure out how to make it better yourself. There we go, plugin. ConvertKit has a lot more different styles of forms that you can select out of the gate and embed, and they look really good. So quite often I just use those, or I'll hand code. Okay, so the last plugin, I'll just give you one more plugin. I'm not going to demo this one for you, but let's see if I can find it and I will show you it. It's good because you can edit the look right out of the gate. But it's not as good because the thing that's different about this plugin is that it holds all your forms on its own site. With Mailchimp for WordPress, when you make a form, it's actually on your own site. I don't like the idea of having all of my forms, such a really important part of my site, held on someone else's server out there, because if they disappear, I've lost all my forms, you know, and that could really be a really difficult thing. Let's have a quick look, see if I can. Sorry, it's just taking me a second to find it. WordPress plugin. So if you're looking for this, I think probably the best thing to type in would be Mailmunch. Seriously, that's what it's called. Mailmunch WordPress plugin. And here again, we'll go to the WordPress repository of plugins. And here it is. Is that the one? It should be the one. Yeah, opt-in forms, pop-up, embed, top bar, scroll box, integrations with Mailchimp, and you can do a lot more design of your forms. The downside is, as I say, that your forms will actually be held on a separate server, on their server. They're not your own and on your own site, and that worries me a little. If their server is slow and it's getting a lot of traffic, then your form won't load properly on your site. You know, I would much rather have the form be on my own site, which is why that's the nearest competitor that I've found. It's a decent second best, but I would really go for WordPress for Mailchimp. Although you can't do as much customization of the look on the free version out of the gate, the look is really good. You can change at least the color of within certain parameters, the color of the sign up button to make it stand out more. It might irk you that you've only got red, green or blue to choose from, but it will work much better than if you have just a default form. You will get more signups, and just that thing of being able to put them on every post is brilliant. Okay, so we've gone a little bit over time, but we got through everything, I think. Yeah, I showed you the image, didn't I? How to put the image on. Yes, I did. We put the little image on there as well. So have a go at this, you know, have a little play. If you want to plump for the premium one, so that you can get the things, then the extra facilities, then by all means do so, because then you can make more forms, and that is a good thing to have. I think personally, in the world of WordPress plugins, for me that was €59 for a year. That's really cheap, you know. If you, like I say, if you're not quite at the stage where you feel comfortable spending money on your site yet, beyond the hosting, then just use the free one and you'll be fine. Okay, so this will be up in the Threads dashboard as soon as I get around to editing the last two and get those up. I'll post this video in the Threads group anyway, so you'll have the unedited, you'll have access to the unedited version on Facebook in the Threads group. Because it's a nice little workaround until I actually get around to putting a nice edited version up. I hope that was good. I hope you found it useful, and I'll see you all again soon.